Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for, our first look at Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, or as we now know, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. And this is absolutely insane. Of course, we just got this first look at CCXP along with other stuff from Morbius and Spider-Man No Way Home. I did videos on all that stuff, but we've got to break down this first look at this movie because this is in such an interesting spot right now. Because with the first movie, like, people were interested in it, but we didn't really know what to expect from it. Like, oh, an animated Spider-Man movie in theaters and Miles Morales is the star of it. We don't know how this is going to turn out. People watched it. Automatically, everybody thinks that this is the best Spider-Man movie of all time. And I have to say, I agree. It really is an amazing movie. So now, how are they going to top that with a sequel? Well, by doing a two-part story. That's exactly how they're going to do it. And now we get our first look at it in this first look teaser. It's like 2.5 minutes and teases some interesting stuff. You know, when you first watch it, it seems pretty basic, like, oh, there's no big reveals here. But there actually is. There is the reveal of actually a new Spider-Man character, Spider-Verse character, that's going to be introduced in this film that you probably didn't expect and maybe haven't even heard of before, because I know I haven't. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and without further ado, let's jump into this. So we start off, meanwhile, in another universe. We start off with Miles Morales, who now seems has grown up a little bit. Seems like some time has passed between the first movie and the sequel. And I love how he's listening again to Sunflower. Of course, that was like the big song in the first movie, which, by the way, I love. That's just such a good song. And so he's just sitting there vibing in his bedroom, just listening to the song like he was in the first movie, but now grown up probably a couple years later. And all of a sudden, the things in his bedroom start floating around, and then you hear the voice of Haley Steinfeld, who of course is returning once again as Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen. So glad to see her back, and she's really pulling double duty here. Of course, now playing also a Marvel character in live action with Kate Bishop in Hawkeye, and I have to say, she's doing amazing in both these roles, and I'm so excited to see her return in this film. And this is really interesting though, because we kind of get a glimpse of this at the end of the first movie, of how they were communicating through dimensions, but we never really got an explanation of how it worked, or at least I don't remember if we did. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. I'll have to watch it again before No Way Home. But they're doing that once again, and this time she actually hops into his universe, and you can see the tension there. Sparks are flying. Miles definitely has a crush on her. She's playing it cool. She's got the confident thing going on here, and it's just really awesome. Again, another sign that time has gone by is that you can see Gwen's hair is getting longer. And yeah, you can just see the little, nervousness from Miles and him just, kind of trying to flirt, but also not really doing it that well. Hopefully, throughout this movie, we'll see their romance blossom because they really deserve it. I think they're going to be a great couple. And again, just seeing the relationships here, seeing how much they missed each other, how Miles was actually doing drawings, referencing back to, of course, the first movie when he was doing graffiti with like spray paint and everything. So he's still drawing, and he specifically drew pictures of her. So then she's like, "Oh, let's go suit up," and then this transitions the teaser to Miles just diving into the Spider-Verse, or diving across the Spider-Verse, because that's what we're going to be seeing in this film. Is that whereas in the first movie, where basically kind of the Spider-Verse came to him and all the different Spider-Verse characters came to his world, this time he's going to be going to their worlds, and we're going to be exploring multiple worlds across the Spider-Verse. So he's just fallen through here, and just the animation style here is so good. That's one of the best things about the first movie. And honestly, I think based off this first look, the animation's even better. It's like they've upped their game. I didn't even know they could do that, but somehow they did. And then he gets popped into this brand new universe here, where he's in, of course, a new animation style, because that was another really cool thing about this movie, is that each universe has their own animation style based on the characters living there. So he's in more of a vibrant 2D type animation. And then we have, of course, the introduction of Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099, who was introduced in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He was voiced by Oscar Isaac. I don't know if it's been confirmed he's going to return, although I'd assume he is, and I think that'd be awesome to see. And honestly, Spider-Man 2099 is my favorite of the Spider-Verse characters. When I first found out that this whole Spider-Verse thing was a thing, Spider-Man 2099 was my favorite, and that was basically just because of his design, because I just thought he looked so cool, but also the fact that it's like a Spider-Man from the future in 2099. and he's going to be having, of course, a very focal role in this movie because he was set up in the post-credit scene to have this huge role, and he's basically needing to save the multiverse. And you see here that he's actually kind of grabbing Miles and almost like kidnapping him, maybe because Miles is the only one that can help him to possibly assemble a group of spiders to save the multiverse or Spider-Verse or whatever. And just the design of Spider-Man 2099 here is so good. I'm loving the look of him. But what's really interesting here is because, like I said at the beginning of this video, this does actually reveal another Spider-Verse character that's going to be introduced here, because when you specifically look at this, you look at Spider-Man 2099's watch, which we know, based off the post-credit scene, allows him to go to specific points and places within the Spider-Verse. You see that says 50101, and in the comics, that is the world and the Earth of Spider-Man India, which again is something I didn't even know was a thing until now, but apparently it is. So this is really interesting because when in the teaser, again, because we know that we're going to different universes, that was the first thing that popped into my mind when Miles came into this new universe and this new animation style was, all right, what is the, or who is the spider of this universe? And at first, the only thing that came to my mind was possibly Japanese Spider-Man, because we know that's a character that's going to be introduced here. But I didn't really, because we don't really know what to expect with that version of Spider-Man, because that was a live action Spider-Man. So they could really do whatever they want with the animation style for that. So that'd be really interesting to see. But no, it's actually Spider-Man India. So yeah, I think that's really, really cool. Although it is interesting though, because we see that Miles is in this universe and then Miguel kidnaps him. So possibly they just hop into the universe and hop out. Maybe we won't even see Spider-Man India and it'll just be a nice reference Easter egg. But it is a possibility, and we know that they're at least going to the world of Spider-Man India, and I think that'd be really, really cool to see, especially because we know Hollywood in recent years is all about diversity. So this would be a great idea and a great addition to the Spider-Verse crew for this film. But then that's where the teaser ends, the first look ends, with, of course, the title reveal, which was already revealed in the title and thumbnail of the video. But Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse, and I love how it's almost like a dot 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 there, like, like people do when they're writing and stuff like that. And then it says part 1, because this is going to be a 2-part story. Clearly, this is going to be a big, huge story. Like I said, how do you do better than your first movie, which is already a masterpiece? You do it as a 2-part story. So I'm excited for this. October 7th, 2022. Man, it's so far away but so close at the same time, and it's just so insane and so awesome, and I'm so excited for this. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about this first look at Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, aka Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1? What Spider-Verse characters do you want to see a part of this film? Do you think Spider-Man India will be a part of this? And what do you want to see for villains? Just let me know in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep it up to date on everything goes on in the Marvel life.